deep dive. This is an official On Passive webinar, and we're so honored to have each and everyone who has already signed in. And we appreciate our YouTube viewers and those who will be viewing in the future. And we have an exciting agenda for the night. And I hope you are excited as much as we are, including all the hosts who are here with us tonight and all the leaders, the global ones who are here with us tonight. So without further ado, please, let's start the webinar with our welcome tune that will be played by Dr. Derek Clark. And please, let's watch the nonverbal communication from the music, because it's usually something that has to do with the current event of On Passive. Thank you very much. And at this stage, I'll pass the microphone.
On Passive. The future of internet.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Thank you, Dr. Derek. Thank you so much. We did see that, right? Wow, on passive, we're so much in it to win it. Thank you very much, Sister Shadare, Sister Lerato Shadare. Okay, we're going to move to the next segment. It's going to be an interesting one today, people. Oh my goodness. Well, this is what we have coming up next, our mindset by Queen JW. We already know who she is, and from the number of people I see here, there isn't a new person who doesn't know her. And she's going to talk about the mindset, and the topic she will talk about today is on passive, a done deal. Now, to you and I, do you believe in that? We have to hear from our one and only sister, Queen JW. And why are we talking about this? Our CEO has promised us the physical aspect of where we are in this journey. Now, he promised us the money, but are we mentally ready for that? That is what Queen JW will talk to us about, the mindset. Right? And who is she? I'm not going to talk too much about her because we see her very often. We know who she is. We love her wonderful voice. She is a wonderful mom, an inspirational speaker, a mom and a grandmom who just loves to inspire when she speaks to her audience. She is that wonderful person that you will go to for any cosmetics, food supplements, or perfume. She's an entrepreneur in all those aspects. We've seen her before. She has inspired us. We're calling her as our mindset speaker today to inspire us as we move forward in our unpassive journey. Please, let's welcome Queen JW, Queen Jacqueline Ward. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Queen Debbie. That is so amazing introduction. Thank you. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, Dr. Derek. Thank you, Dr. Benny. Thank you, Dr. Patience and Dr. John, and all those, Queen Canela and Bridget, all of you that diligently show up. Can you hear me? I hope so.
Yes, we can.
Hey. Oh, okay. And who diligently shows up every Tuesday, Thursday, and even Sunday to keep us updated, to keep us motivated, to keep us abreast of what's going on, even when we're not paying attention. So we have to say thank you. We're so grateful to each and every one of you. I want to welcome each and every one of the brand ambassadors. Aren't we excited to be here? We should be. Amazing things are happening. And by the second, I will say, because they are tirelessly working for each and every one of us. And not only for us, but for humanity as a whole. This is not a selfish company. This is a selfless company, where everyone on board is doing everything together for humanity, so we can be in the best shape ever, so we can have the best life ever, for us to have financial freedom, so we can be able to help our families and help others in our communities. This is so amazing. It is extremely amazing. And so tonight, that's why the topic is about on passive is a done deal. And do you really believe it's a done deal? Because You got to believe it's a done deal for all on passive has done from the time from 2018 when it started as nothing. No one saw all these beautiful backgrounds that we're seeing today. No one saw all the emojis and where it was heading. You know, so we got so much to appreciate and so much to believe in because we're not walking by faith with unpassive. We're actually seeing with our eyes. That what makes it more evident. That what makes it more real. And a CEO that is selfless, he didn't have to share his dream with us in order for us to live our dreams. That's what he's doing. He's sharing his wealth with us. He is an amazing leader, and he did exactly what our Heavenly Father wanted him to do. You know, he was fruitful, extremely fruitful. He multiplied, he subdued, and he's dominating. And he's not doing it by himself. He's doing it with a team, people that see the vision, people who wants to uplift humanity, people who's tired of starving children, human trafficking, all this fraud that goes on. We don't get equality doesn't exist. But on passive, it can if we only believe. And when you believe, you show up. You show up. Even if you don't show up, you go to the YouTube channels and you educate yourself. You bring yourself abreast. You don't have to hear it from someone else. You can hear it directly from the horse's mouth. And that's what helps you to believe. That gives you the motivation. That gives you the spirit of unpassive. Will dwell within each and every one of us. I am so glad to be part of this amazing unicorn company. It's a unicorn company worth over $1 billion. That's not something to believe in. A company that starts from scratch. It didn't, yes, it probably had to get a little help along the way, but we're on our own, our very own. Ash is on his own. Bert Khalif, he doesn't just rent 2 floors there. He owned them. He bought them. He don't owe anyone anything. When Unpassive does anything, he makes sure it's the best. No one can top him. Number one, Unpassive is not a competitive company. It's a private company, privately owned. No one can jump in and say, you know, we got part of this. You get out of here. We taking over. No. Ashes make sure that it's locked. Yes, people, we're going to join. People are going to come in as resellers, and we're going to get some awesome benefits as founders. I mean, this is not something you cannot believe in, not something that you see in Singapore, Hyderabad, the city of technology. You know, those technicians is up and working tirelessly. They are creative, they are amazing, and they don't stop. And they never disappoint Ash because they're in it to win it. And they just don't want it for themselves. In India, there's a lot of people that's unfortunate. They want to help those people. And so we got to believe in Unpassive because it's actually our ticket to financial freedom, to time freedom. We will be able to raise our children. We will be able to provide for them in the right way, not by tomorrow and then the next day, I can't do it. No, you'll be able to leave your jobs. You know, when we see King Madhu, he's always at work. But you know what? He is so excited because he always says, one day. And because he believes. When Dr. Derek and Queen Debbie and Dr. Benny shows up, it's because they believe. When I do this mindset, is because I believe in on passive. Because on passive is going to put me in the best shape ever. And some of you already know this because some of you have your own business, you have did network marketing, and you know it's everything you have to do for yourself. And here Ash is doing all the heavy lifting. When I mean heavy lifting, he's getting us. He's not getting just he had the sheiks, best cars is a sign is partnership with Unpassive. People of great value and great talents is joining Unpassive because they believe in the vision. They want a better earth. They want to see people stop starving and not being appreciated for their talents and their skills. You know, that's why those technicians in hybrid art is so excited because you know what? They are appreciated for everything they do, even if it's the smallest thing. Ash is always there saying, good job, well done. And not only by word, but he takes action and he gives gifts. If your CEO ever gave you a gift, or did your CEO, did you ever even see him? You never saw him. He don't have time for you. I remember when I was working in a medical clinic and we had a storm and I sent a email to the CEO saying even Noah's Ark had time to tell the animals to get on board, to go to be safe. And you know what? He never responded back to me. And I will see him face to face and he would not say anything. Is that a CEO that cares about me when I leave my home in the storm to go to his business to perform services for him? Do he care? And here you have a selfless CEO friend, a man, a mere man. He's human just like me and you, saying, you know what? I want to make a difference in this world. And I want to make people happy. I want them to enjoy their families. I want them to be able to go on vacations. I want them to be able to live their dreams because he's living his dreams and he's taking people along. And awesome. He picks nothing but the best and he shares it with us. So how much real do you want Unpassive to be to you? And you know, sometimes some of us are here say, well, you know, the Indians won the prizes. They won the prizes. You know why? They show up. Our CEO talk about a little effort, just a little effort. It's almost like when God said you could have faith as small as a mustard seed. He's saying the same thing. Just a little effort. It could be attending a webinar. It could be going on ONET and sending out a daily post. You know, we don't utilize the things that we have before us that is free. You don't have to pay a dime. Ash is so gracious. He is so generous. He gave us back on $97. You still don't believe? Huh? He gives you the opportunity, if you don't want to be part of Unpassive, that you can say, hit the cancel membership button. He makes that available, even though we can use it in different ways. Why can't we believe when you have the proof is in the pudding? You know, like Bill Cosby will say. You know, I mean, it's not hard. It had been a roller coaster. This train is like a bullet. It is unstoppable and it's not stopping. Ash is not going to stop. When he say unlimited, he means unlimited. When I listen to Ash, to tell you the truth, I am mesmerized. I can see what Dr. Debbie said, he don't even move. Because this man is sharing his heart. He don't have the scripts written down. He's not looking far away. He's speaking from his heart. He wants us to be a family in Unpassive. Because he's saying, if we can be a family in Unpassive, we can affect the rest of the the people that not doing the right thing, that is doing the wrong thing. But if we as a family of Unpassive can show the world that we can be united and we can be on one accord, you don't think that would change the world? And I think that's what Ash is looking for. He's looking for us to be a family. He's looking for us to believe in the journey. The company has not let us down, not one time. Count how many times your company has let you down. And not even your company, friends, colleagues, other network marketing companies that they promised this and they promised that. And you've been in there for 2 to 3 years and you don't see anything, but you steady going because you're saying, maybe there's light at the end of this tunnel. And when it comes to it, you say, why, I put out so much, but I don't see anything coming in. And all of us have been there in some shape or form. It might not be the same, but we all have been there. When you hear Marty talk about his 30-something years in network marketing, and for him to be so excited, Bill Williams, Michael Williams, when you hear these people who that are successful, but maybe they had to put in so much work to get to where they're at, they are tired. They say Unpassive is the way. Unpassive is the way. Because Ash is doing everything to make sure that this is a sustainable company. And for us who is still on the fence, some of us who has not crossed over to the ecosystem as yet, what are you waiting for? What more proof do you need? You don't need any more proof. You just have to make a choice. I'm ready. Because if you're not ready, your dreams are on the back burner still. Your goals are not going to be fulfilled. You're going to have regret. You're going to say, boy, I should have did. Boy, they was telling us all the time, oh, look how I messed up. No, you don't want those words. Those are negative. You want positive. Yes, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to fulfill my dreams through Unpassive. You're going to fulfill your dreams. He's making a way for you to do so. Look where he's at. He's in Dubai. He dominates Dubai. He has writing 10 years, writing rights. Come on. And then you know it's going to be past 10 years anyway. Look at that big old wheel. Oh my gosh, observation wheel. Those guys went under the sea to connect so we can have all those lights and all those, all the things that they're doing with that. That's a big advertising piece. That's a marketing piece. I mean, look, it just takes over the whole Dubai. Nobody can miss it. Nobody can miss Unpassive. And he said it. He said he will see it from the sky. You're under the sea. Everywhere you go, you will see Unpassive because we are going to be hunted. Do you believe that you're going to be hunted? When some people don't show, you share your affiliate link and they really don't pay. They nonchalant. Don't worry about it because they're going to be looking for you. It's that you're planting seed. Let's look at your affiliate link as planting seed. And one day, the harvest is going to be there for each and every one of us. Oak Connect is a standalone product. You don't need nothing else. Ash spoke about it. He said he can live his life on just Oak Connect. Imagine just one product. One product. And don't talk about Old Tracker. Those two alone. So don't worry, believe in the company that they're going to do the right thing because they've been doing the right thing anyway. We can't do any advertising and marketing like that. We don't even have the money. Some of us didn't have the money to even participate in the founders registration. Some people had it so hard and so difficult. And now we have this amazing opportunity. There's not opportunity like Dr. Greg said, the amazing company, a standalone company that's unstoppable, that's unlimited, that is amazing. And we still don't believe. That's bad, It's almost like the Israelites. You're going to go around in the murky water over and over and over and never getting it and never live the life that God talked about, the abundance life. He said, your latter days shall be blessed. And I know it's a blessing. I know Dr. Derek, them are blessed. The Queen Debbie, because they feel it. They want it. We want it. I want it. I have so much to do. I don't want to retire and sit on my couch and watch the rest of my life go by like I'm waiting for death. Do you want your life to be like that, that you're just sitting back and waiting for death to come? Death is already part of the equation. We don't have to wait for it. It will come. But in the meanwhile, from the day you're born to your current status right now, is for you to live an abundant life. And on passive is giving us that opportunity. And if you believe in on passive, you will show up, you will be engaged, you will participate, because we are a family. You know, I hear Queen Debbie asking some of the members, some of the brand ambassadors to take up, hey, maybe you can do this or maybe you can do that. You should be always ready to help, because we are a family. And that's when you know, if you believe in on passive, you will move. You will move. You will take action, because this is an action company. And it's doing it not only for us, but it's doing it for humanity as a whole. So put in that little effort. It says alone, we are just a drop of water, but together we are a powerful river. You know, the products are disrupted. We have real products. We have real people globally around the world. And even if you don't feel that your life is being changed, your life is being changed. My life is being changed. And it can be changing in a very small way. Look at Dr. John coming and sharing financial information with us, getting us prepared. Dr. Derek giving us the updates, telling us what type of computer to buy. Come on, you never learned this much in your whole entire life. Even if you got on the last string, let me tell you, for me, I have learned so much like I had started in 2018. And what makes it so great about Unpassive, you will forever be learning. Some of us didn't know how to use our computers too well. But you know what? We're learning how to share screens and all that. Come on, we're learning blogs from other brand ambassadors, sharing information together. You don't have to go nowhere in Unpassive. Everything is right at our fingertips. So we got to be grateful to Unpassive. We got to be grateful to our Ash Mafara and his family. We have to pray for them continuously, because for the hard work they do, they work all up to 9. If you look at the video for behind the scenes, and you see how those people are working tirelessly and serious. They're not laughing and joking around, because there's a time for everything. So let's believe in Unpassive. Let's help Mr. Ash Mafara and the team to uplift humanity. Let's be thoughtful as much as he is as thoughtful of us. So thank you so much. Unpassive is the best. That's all I can say. Unpassive is the best. And if you know of another company that is better than Unpassive, please share it in the chat. I thank you so much for this, for your listening ear. I thank you, Queen Debbie, and may God bless us and may God guide us in the path of all righteousness for his sake, for his name's sake. Thank you again to each and every one of you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Queen JW. I have to say this, I could not hold it back. You nailed it.
That's what I get. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah.
Now, I'm not even going to attempt to summarize what you just shared with us. I was just absorbing everything and how it resonates with everything you said resonates with me. And I'm sure it's not just with me, but every global ambassador who has signed in. I thank you for finding the time to be with us religiously every Tuesday. We appreciate you. I know there's
You're welcome.
global ambassadors out there who have comments or something to share relating to your presentation, which is really outstanding. So this is a period, if you have anything regarding the presentation from Queen JW, this is a time to raise your hand, and we'll be honored to hear what you have to share before we move to the next segment of the webinar today. Thank you. Yes, I know Queen Sister Dr. Benny. You don't even have to raise your
As
hand.
usual.
You know, just like in school, I say, I sir. So, well, this is an amazing webinar that you come here and you smile. You listen to people like Queen Jackie Warner, Dr. Derek, Queen Debbie, Queen Lily, Queen Miriam, Dr. T, and the rest. Jesus. You want to attend a webinar that you'll be happy, that people makes you happy. And Queen Jackie, you make me happy.
Oh, you make me happy too.
Hey, well, I'm sorry, but before I proceed, please, as we all know, I always say, Father, we thank our Heavenly Father for bringing all of us together. The reason why I always thank God is because our CEO always he said the force is talking to him. So, but people may not believe it, but the force is talking to him. That is why he made that statement. Either I do or I die. He doesn't care because the power, he has that power. God gave him the power. And that is why I believe that I expect all of us to know that we have a maker, someone who created you and I in his image. Thank you. I don't want to talk that much, but you know it. I'm sorry. I am just stealing Queen Davy's words. Anyway, I would say ordinary presentation, Queen Jackie. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for making us to understand the importance of unpassive, the importance of our CEO, because there is no other CEO in the world who will sit and even talk to someone like us. Are you guys kidding me? Jehovah, let me be quiet. Thank you, Queen Debbie.
Dr. Benny, thank you. I know it's always a good idea when you come after our mindset for the day, when you come up and you thank the Almighty for giving us the air that we breathe. It feels very, very, it's like refreshing. It's refreshing to know that we can always have someone who reminds us, and you are that it. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Indeed. Brother Mamadou Jallo, and after that, we'll move to the next segment of our webinar. Brother Mamadou Jallo, you're welcome. The man who works 24 hours round the clock, if you're able to unmute yourself and share with us. Yeah, we can see you at work, but you always find time to join.
Indeed, I am at work. Thank you very much, Queen Debbie, for allowing me just to acknowledge and appreciate JW for what she just said. And, it's amazing. For up till now, we still have some people that are doubtful about this. For me, I don't know. You see the energy I have. Every day I work 24/7. Why? Because I know my early retirement has begun since I became a founder of this noble company. I just want to use this opportunity to appreciate you all and just to thank you for the effort you are putting, because this is an opportunity that will change my life, my family's life, my community where I was born, and my country as a whole, which is Sierra Leone. So every day I slept and waked, I always thank God Almighty for giving me this opportunity and to extend my thanks and appreciation to our CEO, the tech team, the staffs, everywhere all over the world, and we, the global ambassadors, for everything they have done and still doing for us. You know, I just want to appreciate Queen JW. That was a marvelous and perfect presentation. Thank you very much. Back to my
You're welcome.
work.
Thank you, Brother Mamadou Jallo. Keep doing what you do best to uplift your family. And thank you so much for always attending every webinar, regardless of whether you're at work at home. That's the spirit of being engaged. Exactly.
That's why I don't have no skepticism, because I know what is there for me and my family.
Right, right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Once more, thank you, Queen JW, for being there for that amazing, outstanding presentation you give us every Tuesday. And there's no comparison. One week to another is always a very unique one. We appreciate you. Thank you. So at this stage, we're moving to the next step of our webinar, an amazing one. Step to financial freedom. Steps to financial freedom. And this is part 3, meaning that we have heard 1 and 2. But believe me, we've heard more than that. From our one and only Dr. John Ajongwen. If you watch the intro in It to Win It video, you saw a picture of him and Dr. Patience Ajongwen, who is his better half. Now they're side by side. You can see them. And I do not need to introduce him, because we see him here on Deep Dive and we see him on Dream Team. But one thing I want to say is he is this wonderful man with a heart of gold, married to a golden wife who is, he's married to this wonderful wife who is Dr. Patience Ajongwen, and a lot of people call her Mama Africa, Dr. P. We don't need to go any further. He is a father of 5 and a father of many children. 5 is the one that they have, but they are parents to a lot of children. He is here today to share with us his knowledge about financial freedom as we are on passive. And this is part 3 and not the end of it, because there is still more to come. I'm thinking, and I hope and pray that there will be more to come to educate us. So even the person who does not have any knowledge of what finance is, once you get all these layers of financial freedom 101, and the right time comes and the money is coming out, you already know what to do. Don't say you did not know, because we have been doing this training just to help prepare your mind for the future. Thank you so much for all of us who are here and ready to listen to Dr. John Ajongwen. The microphone is yours, Dr. Ajongwen.
Oh, wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know. Every time you start, I don't even know what to say. Let me get my screen and I can share with you. I hope you're hearing me loud and clear, because my computer started playing up just as you were talking. So good evening, everybody, and welcome to yet another series in this our journey to financial independence. And what I'm going to do is just continue building up on some of the elementary or the foundational items that I had shared last week. And please just remember, the focus of all this readiness, as I've said, is to make sure that we are ready for to become excellent stewards of the money and the wealth that we're going to get through on passive. You've heard it said over and over again. I think somebody won the mega lottery in the US here, almost 600 and something $million. It'll be interesting to actually read in the press in the next couple of months what happens to that individual. Because if they were not financially prepared or their mindset was not ready, I can almost assure you that most of what they get is not going to last. So let's get started. If my computer is going to behave itself. Okay, so last week I threw up this slide and I really focused on point number 5. And this week I thought maybe we should talk something about credit cards. Again, this may or may not affect everyone here, but my hope is that when we become the unperseverant millionaires, this is a skill that or a tool that we may be able to use as we go around the world uplifting humanity. And understanding how to do that in the most prudent way is important. I remember I also shared this slide here where I talked about how the wealthy and the average people, they slice up their money. And I shared that the blue part down here in terms of the amount of debt that the wealthy tend to have is a small percentage of that slice of pie. But also mentioned that that is usually a good debt for them, versus if you come to the other side of the equation where you find most of us, then what tends to happen is that this one here tends to be a lot of bad debt. So the credit cards actually fall in this category, and you can actually use it to your advantage, or it can actually become a burden to you. And that's what I'm going to try and work on today. This slide here talks about the situation in the United States at the moment. And I got this from one of the, I think it's a Forbes magazine or something, I can't remember the exact source. And it said the credit cards aren't free money. That goes without saying, but millions of Americans, and I would say millions of people who use credit cards anywhere, don't seem to have really received that memo that it is not free money. And in the case of the US, I think 2 years ago, the total amount of credit card debt was about $1 trillion. It's actually gotten better now, and it's about $960 billion that just Americans owe. So if you add our brothers north of the border in Canada and you start adding the rest of the world, you can actually see how much that people owe. So before we dwell into that, I just want you to think about the credit card almost as a bank loan, in the sense that if you have to go to your bank and borrow money, then what you do with that money could actually be a very useful thing that could help you build wealth, or it could be something that you end up paying like 4 or 5 times that amount back if you do not understand the rule of 72, which I explained last week. So the good news in terms of credit cards is that if we are prudent and disciplined, you can actually use your credit card to earn. And for those of us in North America, build credit history for what it is worth instead of paying. Let me just quickly share a couple of statistics here, which you have talked about. The average American family, in this case, they owe about $6,270 in their credit card bill monthly. And I told you about $986 billion is the total credit card debt. And the irony is that just less than half of the population of America has credit cards. If we start factoring it beyond the United States, I think that number would get even smaller. Now, the graph below actually paints a picture and it sets the scene for what I want to talk about. If you look carefully, you will see that the people in the lower end of the scale, that is those with a smaller net worth, they tend to actually owe less in credit card, which is kind of good news, about $5,000. But the sad part of it is that the income that these individuals actually have to back up that credit card is much less than the $5,000 a month. On the higher end of the scale, you get that the people in the 90 to 100%, the top 10% of wealthy people, they actually carry a bigger credit card average balance. But then what tends to happen is these individuals use the credit card so they don't have to carry around a lot of cash. They use the credit card and literally rig the system for it to benefit them. And what I am trying to focus on in this discussion is to tell us, to start preparing us that if you are disciplined and you are prudent in the way that you manage your credit card, and OnPassive gives us that option, then many of us will tend to go towards this end. Not that I want us to carry a lot of credit card debt, but I just want to talk about how that balance can work for you. And if you are on this lower end of the spectrum, this talk should also help you to get rid of those debts combined with the presentation we did last week. So talking primarily for those of us in the US, I believe in Canada, I didn't really look at this a lot. If you hear about the credit score and that affects the interest that you pay on your loan, so if you can even get approved, credit card really has a significant input in how your credit score plays out. If you look at the credit card usage, if you have a credit card, you can see that anything that is more than 20% usage, or let me say 30% usage, starts to get out of the green area, which means if you have a credit card and you're spending consistently more than 30% of the balance or of the credit card limit, it is actually affecting your credit score negatively. And you can see that if somebody is even in the 50%, so if your balance is about 50% of what the limit is on an average month, all the way up to 75 plus, you're already in the red zone. And the red zone means that it has a high negative impact on your credit score. If you miss payments on your credit cards, or you have any other collections or public records, they also have a huge impact on your credit score. And you can see here that you don't have to miss a lot of payments in order to have a high impact in your score, which means you can drop 3, 4, 10, or even more points on your credit score. Payment history, which is linked to which is really talking about your payment history not being able to miss. If your payment history is such that you're missing less than 10% of your payments, literally you're talking of missing more than one payment a year, is going to have a big impact on your credit score. So you can see that the payment history, the usage, and any of these derogatory remarks that you may have in your records, those three things have a severe impact on your credit. Each of your credit cards has a medium impact. It's not as bad as those first three, but it is also significant. Why is that important? If you have a credit card that even if you've not been using for 10, 15, 20 years, and that credit card is not been canceled, it is actually helping build the average age of your credit cards, and it improves your credit score, though not as high as it would if you were just missing payments or if you were spending too much on your credit. So that is primarily, again, I don't want to spend too much time on that because it is something which we need to just be aware. And this slide, you will see it again, but it is really important because many of us, we receive our credit card bills and maybe we pay it. Maybe we don't even look at the statement. We look at how much balance you have and then decide whether you're going to pay that balance or you're going to pay some of it. In the US, for example, the credit card companies were not obliged to give you a minimum payment or to tell you what the impact of making those minimum payments could be until when the Obama administration came on board. They insisted on actually providing more transparency to the user. So there are a couple of things that I want to point out. Again, for those who are not primarily US, I want to apologize because this, again, will probably benefit 90% more of those in the US here. And when you get your credit card statement, I want you to pay attention to a couple of very key things. The first thing is to look at your payment due date. The payment due date is always indicated, but what most credit cards tend to do is they add this text on the right-hand side, which I will bet a million people miss. And they tell you that if you're making your payments, whether it's by phone or by online payment, that date is 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if I have somebody who is, say, in the West Coast of America, in California, and they run to their bank at 7 p.m. or they do an online payment at 7 p.m. on the day that they're supposed to pay their credit card, it's late because that payment due date is based on Eastern Daylight Time. They tell you a minimum payment that you must make. And they also tell you that if they don't receive that minimum payment by the payment due date, there is going to be a late payment fee. So just think about what I said earlier. Somebody who makes their payment at 8 p.m. California time is already like 11 o'clock Eastern time. They're going to pay $40 in the case of this bill. Then the last thing that people need to be aware of is what they call your billing cycle. What is the period during which your charges are accrued? And I will come back to this later because I think it's important for people who want to use their credit cards to understand the importance of it. In addition to that, there is a lot of other verbiage that is provided telling you how you can avoid paying interest charges, how you can avoid late payment charges. All I normally tell somebody is go ahead and read it. And then everyone who has a credit card occasionally may run into some financial bind and may need to do a cash advance. My recommendation and the strong recommendation I'll make is don't do it if you don't have to. Why? Because if you look at the credit card itself, you will realize that, for example, in this particular one I'm using, the interest that they charge for purchases is about 17% if I don't pay my bill in time. But the interest that they charge for cash advances is 28%. You're talking of almost another 11% higher. This is the catch. The catch is that, as I'll share with you, while you can actually spend on your credit card and pay for it later without actually paying a penny of interest, which is what I want to actually advise everybody to do, and I'll show you how. The minute you take out a cash advance, the interest starts to accrue and is calculated daily. And if you already have a balance in your credit. Let's say you have a $500 balance in your credit card, and you go out and you take another $300 and pay. If you decide to put $300 back into your card, chances are that that $300 will go towards those purchase payments. So they'll want to keep the cash advance money in there as long as possible so that you pay the most penalties. Don't you just love your banks? And then this is where I wanted to really move us in a different direction, almost like a mindset change. Credit cards are not all bad. I know, like last week, Dr. Derek made the statement there that, you know, he just puts everything, when he gets the cash, he buys it. 100% correct. But this is where I want you to also use that same mindset and be creative. First things first, do not pay annual fees for credit cards. There are tons and millions of credit cards out there that have no annual fees. Obviously, if you're looking for some super duper credit card that will give you some special benefits and they charge an annual fee and you can work out your mouth that you're going to benefit, go for it. But my general advice is stay away from those credit cards that charge you annual fees, because the annual fee may just hit on a day that you don't know. And if you miss that payment, you get a late payment and then you get interest on it. So be watchful for that. Second thing, pay your card in full all the time. This is where I am talking about. Do not, if you don't have the cash to pay for it, do not charge it. So you may ask me, why the hell then do I want you to use a credit card? We'll talk on that a bit. Whatever you do, make sure you pay your balance in full so that you don't have to pay them any interest. And please don't pay the minimum payment. If you run into a bind, just add some money into that minimum payment. And you can see this illustration on the right hand side here just talks about somebody who has about $1,500 of a credit card, which is at a very good interest rate of 18%. If that person were paying just the minimum of, say, $37 a month, it will take about 63 months to pay the $1,500. But if they could just add just $10 on top of that, it will take them 44 months with a savings of literally like $270 or about 19 months sooner to get out of debt. So those were some of those concepts we talked about last week. Now, this one, I really want to spend a couple of minutes here because this is where a lot of people get into trouble. And what I want to just tell you here, and I really want to give credit to my wife, because maybe because she's a math and statistician, she picked these numbers quickly and really helped us. And I can proudly tell you that we have not paid a penny of interest on any of our credit cards for the last 30 years. And if you see some of these statement balances that I'm showing here, yes, those could be the household monthly expenses, but we make sure that we're not going to be sponsoring the credit card companies. And if you read what is written up in yellow, I indicated that if you plan well, you could literally buy something on a credit card and not have to pay anything for almost 2 months, and also not pay any interest. So let's look at that a bit more. I talked to you earlier about this. Just bear with me. Let me get my pen back. It's lost. It's no longer syncing with the computer. Okay. So I talked on a couple of things. I talked that I said you should pay attention to your am I going? Okay. I say you should make sure you pay attention to your billing cycle and also pay particular attention to your due date. If you look at this statement, you realize that these are 2 months that are superimposed, and you see that typically the billing cycle is roughly between from the 14th of the month. For my card, yours may be different, from the 14th to the 14th or 15th to the 13th. Why is this important, and why am I trying to talk about minding this gap? If you follow with me here on this graphic below, think about the month of April. My billing cycle was from the 14th of April all the way to the 14th of May. And on the 14th of May, the credit card company issued our bill, and they told us that we had up till the 8th of the 8th of June to pay. If we pay everything by the 8th of June, there's no charge. Then the next cycle starts on the 14th of May through to the 14th of June. And on the 14th of June, they'll give you a statement and they tell you that the payment due date is the 8th of July, which was this one up here. And if you pay by the 8th of July, there is no charge. Same thing when it comes to the July billing. You get the July billing on the 14th of July, and you have up to the 8th of August to pay that bill. But remember, what I have to pay up till the 8th of August is everything that I spent during this period here, during this June 15th all the way to July 15th. So an expense that I put on my card on June 15, that's one day after my statement was issued to me. I literally have June 15, July 15, all the way up to August 8, almost like 5 weeks before I had to make that payment. Now, this is where the credit card companies get most of us. You see that the payment date is the 8th, and the next cycle starts on the 14th or 13th or something. They normally give you about 4 or 5 days in between. And that's why I say mind that gap. Because what they do is they told you that your payment date is the 8th. So anything that I spent in this cycle and I had this free period and I didn't pay it by the 8th, they're going to calculate the interest all the way back to the beginning of that cycle, and then it gets added now to my bill that is going to come out on the following month. Additionally, they give that gap so that if you miss your payment, they have enough time in this period of time to calculate the either the late payment, the missed payments, or the penalties, and then add onto your money before that period. The third thing I want to tell you about managing your card between the day, your due date, and the beginning of your billing cycle is that if I pay my credit card here on the 8th of July, and I go out on the 9th of July and spend anything, that statement, that bill is going to come out on the 14th. If I go and I spend anything on the 12th, the statement, the bill is going to come out on the 14th also. So if you know what this gap is, what my kids have grown to know is that they know that there's some periods in the household that we do not use our credit cards, and it is those what I call the gaps, because if you spend in that gap, you literally have 30 days to pay that bill. But if you spend immediately after your statement has come out, you could end up having literally 5 weeks to actually pay that bill. But whatever you do, please, please, please pay it in full. Now, the other thing to think about is why go through all that headache why even bother using credit cards? You can actually earn from credit cards instead of paying the credit cards if you do what I just told you behind there. You can earn points. Like if you look at these points here, divide by 100 roughly, that gives you almost $1,100 that you get from using those points. And some of them give you straight cash back. Some of them give Amazon gift cards. Some of them do. What I would tell you is, if you need to get the credit card, get those points, use them. They can give you some serious discounts. I have known of business people who actually went there and they're getting something like $5,000-$6,000 a year back from their credit card because they put everything on the credit card. Plus, when you put everything on your credit card, it actually gives you the added advantage that you have all your expenses together in one place and you can go and look at them and help you with your budgeting, which is one of the things we'll talk in the future session. Let me tell you a story why I think being prudent and actually discipline in your credit card could be of benefit to you. It's to do with not only all these points that I'm mentioning about, but things like the cashback. These are all the percentage discounts, just a portion of them that I can get from my credit card. And if you have a credit card, you look at, you see that if you buy things from different vendors, they actually give you a cashback or they give you discounts. And I know somebody who this guy got into an accident. They actually got the insurance company to write them a check for their replacement car. It was about $28,000. Let me say, just say $30,000 to round things up. Went to get a replacement car from the dealership, and they asked the dealers, can I put a part of the payments down on my credit card? They say, sure. And this gentleman just said, okay, you know what? I'm going to put $20K on my credit card. And his credit card was about just over 20,000 limits. He put the $20,000, went home, called his credit card company and said, listen, I just maxed out my card. I want to pay it off immediately. And they went into his account. They paid they paid off the 20,000. The next day, when he was going to pick up his car on his way to the bank to get a check to go pay for the balance of about 18,000, he called the sales the salesperson at the dealership and said, oh, by the way, can I just put the balance on my credit card? The guy went and spoke to the manager, came back and said, sure. So this gentleman drove to the dealership without even going back to the bank and put the other $18,000 on the same credit card that he had put in the 20,000 the day before and paid off. The long and short of it is that by the end of that day, when he came back, he went back to his bank, took the remainder of the money that was already in the bank, paid off the credit card, and that purchase netted him about a 3% cash back. So if you take $30,000 times a 3%, he actually made $900 by using his credit card. He didn't have to pay a penny of interest in it. What I'm saying is, if you know what the wealthy are doing with their cards, you can understand why they have a bigger balance and why it's not costing them anything. And the other point I just want to talk about is what I call rig the game to your advantage. We've talked about the fact that you can actually get credit cards with no annual fees, but there are also credit cards that come with a zero interest for 12 to 18 months. And while I'm not a proponent of this, but I know that the people who have basically used a credit card to pay a credit card to pay a credit card and just go on for about 2-3 years and pay their debts down slowly at 0 interest by doing balance transfers. Just remember, some of these credit cards may charge you an interest of about, or a fee of about 3% for transferring. But in most cases, that would be less than if somebody had an 18% or 25% interest on their credit card. So you need to read and understand the conditions and make sure that you pay when the money is due. Because if you miss, they're going to calculate from the day you spent, not from the day that credit, that 0% expires. The other things that I know a lot of people have done with credit cards, especially you go to stores and you want to buy things like furniture or buy refrigerators or something, you can get them. They'll tell you to get a store card, which they will tell you that they can defer the interest for 12 months. Or some of them call it same as cash. Again, if you have the cash, I would say, why not take, if you're buying stuff that is going to cost you about $6,000-7,000, like furniture or stuff in your house, and they give you for 18 months interest free or same as cash, what I always do is take it and I make sure that I put in all the possible calendars I have, like 3 months to the due date, 2 months to the due date, 1 month to the due date, and make sure that before, at least a month before the due date, you clear the entire debt. And when you do that, then you would have had this purchase almost 18 months or more for 0 interest, and maybe have some points on your card to also go with. That said, if you are not disciplined, don't. If you're not going to develop that mindset of being disciplined in the way you manage your finances, then cut up your credit card and throw it away and dig yourself out of a hole. This is a message that I passed, especially to the younger people that know that the credit card is some magic money that you can just spend and it doesn't go anywhere. But the one thing that I want you to remember is that if you don't do that and you cannot pay cash for it, then you probably don't need that thing, or you may end up paying more for it than you thought you were because of the interests and the penalties and all the other charges. However, if you remember where I talked to you about the age of your credit card, if you have a credit card that has been there for 20 years, and then you have another credit card that is 5 years, they say, okay, the average age of your card is like 12 years because they take the 20 and the 5 and add and do an average. If you say cancel the 20-year card, then all of a sudden you have a card that is the age of your credit card is now 5 years, and it could negatively impact you. And I don't know why they do it, but somehow whenever you cancel a credit card, it has like a slight negative impact on your score. The good news being that those tend not to last for a very long time. So I know that this is more specific again for credit card users, but the same message goes for any loans that you take. Don't take them just because someone is trying to sell you and tell you that they got some discount, because there's nothing like a free lunch. But once we start going out there and helping the world, using some of these plastics may be a way to actually help you with your budgeting. It will help you not to be carrying a lot of cash around with you unless you're going to a place where they don't use those type of cards. And it can actually generate some little money that you can go and help somebody. I think if you think about the guy that was able to save himself $900 by paying for the car with his credit card, even though he had the cash in the car in his bank account. If somebody really needed a help for $500 and he had 900, I'm sure he wouldn't mind being a bit generous. So this is what I had to share today. I know it can be confusing, but I thought that we should bring this out because I don't want everybody to just think that having a credit card is all evil. With that, I'm going to stop and I'll pass it back over to you, Mama Debbie.
Oh my goodness. Dr. John. I have to first of all say, if you realize I turned my camera off because I wanted to take pictures of what you're doing so I can share with my family, because we've been having fights about credit cards and they did not get the concept. I know last week I asked you something, and I'm one of those who do not like to owe. I pay as soon as I spend, and if I don't have the money, I don't spend beyond my means. I only spend what I know I have and I can afford. But I don't know how we can train the Gen Zs and the millennials on how to follow what you just shared. Anyone between 40 and 50 going forward will resonate with you. But the Gen Zs, they're the recalcitrant ones who do not want to take what you just shared. So what do we do to get them to believe in what you just shared? Because they don't use credit card. They use, what do they call it? Venmo?
Cash App, Zelle.
Venmo is whatever.
Yep. Venmo, Cash App, Zelle.
Right. So how do you get, anyway, I'm not going to go into that, but let me thank you for that outstanding, awesome presentation. If you had gone beyond this, I don't think a lot of people will be able to grasp. So I'm glad you just covered that segment today. I appreciate it very, very much. That's just amazing. Thank you. Just stay put, don't go anywhere, because I see at least 3 hands up. And the first hand is yours.
I think two of them should be adding to the presentation, not asking questions.
The first one is yours truly, your better half. So I'm going to let Queen Sister Dr. Benny deal with that. But Dr. John, thank you so much for that presentation. Very much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay.
Dr. Benny. Queen.
Yes, my dear. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, Dr. John. We appreciate you. I'm not going to tell you that you nailed it, but I would say excellent, outstanding presentation, brother. We appreciate you. All right. Brand Ambassador Queen Dr. Pat, please unmute yourself and share us your excitement about this credit card.
Oh boy, mercy. Yeah. You know, Queen Debbie was saying that she was taking pictures to send to her family, and I'm cracking up because when our third one was younger, and he wanted something, and we said no, we cannot afford that. So you can just go to www.payyourbill.com, because that's what they were saying in the radio, and get it. If they're saying you can get this for free, why is mom and dad being mean not to get the stuff for them? So as you can see, we use credit card in our household. We do. We use it as a cash, not as a loan. I think that's what Dr. John was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to use it as a loan, be careful, because the interest rate is not good. They're not playing. But if you don't have the discipline to use it as cash, don't use it. And what do we mean by using it as cash? Don't spend what you don't have. You know what your income is. You know what your money is. For me, it's just the convenience not to be carrying large cash with me, because I'm very careless. I throw my pocketbooks all over the place. So I take that route. And when I decided to take the route to use credit card, I had to study credit card. I don't play. I have to study them. I have to figure it out. And Queen Miriam has shared, so a lot of people have shared with the brain of the finances, budgeting. When you pay a check in the bank, you will withdraw money from the bank. Guess what they do first?
Mm-hmm.
Which one did the bank do first? They try to cash the check that you're paying in. Oh, no. They don't cash the check. They try to withdraw the money you're paying in first. No idea they're doing that, because if you don't have sufficient funds, they charge you overdraft, even though you've just paid funds. So they cash the money in the morning, then they clear the checks in the evening. Okay, so they can get you. And make sure the banks don't get me. And I had to really confront banks once, and they told me that's the way they make money. They make money from us. Everywhere they can make money, any penny. If 1 million people give a penny each, that's a lot of money. So you have to see that. 1 million people give a penny to the bank is a lot of money. So if you're going to withdraw money and you're paying the cash so you can withdraw that money, be careful, because if you don't have money in your account, they will take that cash first before they clear that money. That way, it shows that you're withdrawing overdraft. You're taking money that you don't have. So please, if you don't have the discipline to use credit card, don't use it. You have to look at it like it's cash. You know what you're checking, you know what your monthly pay is, you know what your income is, you know what your source of income is, you know when you're going to get it. So don't go and spend on that credit card if you can't discipline yourself. Read your credit card for those that are in America. Look at your cycle, understand your billing cycle, understand your credit card very well before you go into the credit card venture. It can make life easy for you because you don't have to carry cash. They can make your life a misery if you don't know how to use it. Queen Miriam has talked about us digging ourselves out of a hole. It can quickly take you down that spiral of darkness if you don't know how to use it. So please don't. If you really want to go that route, get somebody, sit with her, understand your cycle, really understand what it takes. Because a lot of people do not used to read the credit card until they pass a bill that they should tell people how much do you end up paying if you're only paying the minimum payment. It will be ridiculous for you to see. I tried to dig my son out of a credit card hole once, and I paid his outstanding balance, and he did not use the credit card. At the end of the next cycle, he had a bill. So I called them. I said, I paid this bill. How come he has a bill? He said, oh, Mom, you know when he was carrying over credit, he had interest. So that's the interest we keep charging him. I will charge the interest daily. When you don't pay, they calculate your interest daily. So I was on the phone with them. I said, can you tell me what the current amount is right now? Like now that we're talking, so we take the money out. Because if I did not do that, trust me, the next day, they'll charge interest on that money, compound it, put it on the balance, plus the interest, charge you interest, compounding interest on the interest on the interest on the interest until you pay it. That's how they make their money. Don't work your money, hard-earned money, and give it to the banks. Be smart about it. Thank you, Dr. John, for the good presentation today. Let me shut my mouth when it comes to credit card, I just feel bad when people find themselves in a wallet, which they can really look at this, they can use it for their advantage, but they don't know if you don't have the discipline, don't do it. Because the moment you miss a credit card payment, they already charge you 30 days of interest, and they start charging interest on the interest on top of your principal. It's compounding. It's horrible. Thank you.
Wow. At least you have to say thank you to your husband anyway, right? Anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Pat. We appreciate you. Thank you for your support as well. Brand Ambassador Queen Miriam, please unmute yourself and share us your excitement.
Greetings, all global ambassadors. Dr. John, excellent, outstanding presentation. And this is something that everyone on this call should actually pay very, very close attention to, because no matter how we think we have it together, just being reminded will help us to stay on top of what we have. And as Dr. John make a very valid point, if you know you don't have the discipline of doing the things consistently or staying on top of your debt, do not use the credit card. Don't use it. What they have been doing, the system sends out consistent invitation. We see this nice big letter comes with invitation, and it's very attractive because it always come around when you're in a little financial bind, and then you say, oh my, this is so good. But you have to be very careful. If you know you don't have the discipline, as soon as it comes, go open it, call them, and opt out, so they won't send you anything else. Every single time, just opt out, because when the cycle ends, you will be so surprised they send you more things to register. Just keep opting out, and you'll be in a better position if you know you don't have the discipline. If you're in a situation and you want to use credit, as Dr. John says and Dr. Patience, sit down with your financial advisor. They will help you strategize. You may have to pay them a little money, but it's best to do that, and it keeps your interest rate very low. Then you get involved with credit card that you pay 19%. All of those things will eat into what you are gonna get as global ambassadors when the money starts flowing. If you're not able to take care of the little bit right now, you'll definitely not be able to take care of the vast amount that will be coming. Thank you, Dr. John. Awesome presentation.
Thank you, Queen Miriam. And she made a comment there. Let me just throw out there that as far as I know here, she, Dr. T, and I think at least one other person that I just blanked out, some of those individuals that you guys can catch to sit down with you, okay, but Dr. Patience is also there, that you can catch to sit down with you and actually talk about some of your financial strategies. The good news is that they're going to charge you the cost of love, okay? Because we're all on perseverance. So before you, I mean, obviously, most of us that are here, we have limitations as to how much we can help. Those areas that we're able to help, we would actually help and share with you just as family. But then if it starts going beyond that, we're going to send you to someone else, and it's up to them what they do, okay? So reach out to any of us and say, listen, you talked about this crazy idea. Does it really work? How are things going for me? And we can actually have a one-on-one.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. John, for your response. We appreciate everything that you've done and given to us. Brand Ambassador Violet, could you please unmute yourself and share us your excitement about this topic?
I hate to tell you, this is not an exciting topic. Not for me. I'm my credit cards are at the limit. Is there any way to pay off the cash advance? Or are they going to bug me until I pay off the whole card?
Yes, Violet, actually call them. Call them and say, this money I want to put is going specifically to the cash advance. If you don't call them, they would put it on whatever charge you made before the cash advance. So, okay. Yes, please just call your credit card company and say, listen, this $200 I'm sending you today is going to the cash advance, and I want confirmation that that payment has been made towards that cash advance, and they will make it.
Okay. I mean, it was only about $30 or $40, but
Yeah, but there's
interest is
daily
like
interest on
$5. It's like ridiculous.
it.
Another, just for information, there's a guy on YouTube. He's called the Economic Ninja. Watch him. He gives you a lot of information about what's happening. Somehow he has inside information. He's a firefighter, but he's got his ear to the ground, like really, really got his ear to the ground. And what else was there? Okay, that's great. About the cash advance, I can get rid of that one. Okay, and oh yeah, e-transfers. Do they cost?
Bottom line, yes, but there are ways about it depending on where you are and how those are done. In most cases, if you get the balance transfer, you get like a 0% interest free, and you want to. Some cards would actually tell you right up front that yes, they will allow you to transfer for some nominal fee, like 1% during that initial period. But most of them that I have seen, they tend to charge up to 3%, unless, I mean, as I said, there are other different ways that people can creatively pay that off and do a balance transfer. Like if somebody was going to purchase something, you can pay and then they can pay your card or something. But generally 3%.
Okay. Because I'm with this bank that has no charges at all.
Okay.
Like, I don't pay for anything. But it was weird. I sent, and this is something I never do. It's my first time I ever did it. I e-transferred money to my mechanic. I had some work done on my car. And on my phone, it said it costs $3.50 to do that, but it never showed up in my bank account. So I'm guessing because of the because I have no fees, it never went through.
Yes, and you have to. Some banks would actually refund some of those e-transfer fees, but when it comes to credit cards, even those banks that do not have charges on credit cards, I will still advise everybody to just read the fine print on the credit card, because they may actually tell you that on your normal banking, but on the credit card, it's a totally different set of rules. So just check and make sure.
Okay, I was just trying to pick your brain. Thank you.
Okay.
You've got a very knowledgeable brain, and
says Violet.
It's called experience. There are probably places that I can wipe you out, but not money. Anyway, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
The presentation was phenomenal, and I learned a lot. Thank you.
Queen Benny.
Queen Violet, thank you, Dr. John. It seemed as if Queen Violet was testing you, but you nailed it anyway. You made it. That's okay. Brand Ambassador Jackie Wadner, please unmute yourself and share us your excitement. Can you unmute yourself, please? Queen Jackie, unmute.
Okay, now, thank you, Dr. Benny. Dr. John, amazing. I have to say now, I'm going to use their word. You nailed it, as usual. Let me tell you, I couldn't relate to everything that you were talking about. because I was in some of those I didn't know about credit card. I was forced into it because I didn't get one till I was probably 30 because I was moving, relocating. And they say, you need a credit card. And I didn't know anything about credit card. So I think my first credit card, I started out with cross country, where you put in some of your money. So I started that way. But then I escalated and I was a total mess. Store, cards, and so forth. So I can relate because I was down in that pit. But thank God that I had some boundaries and like you said, discipline. And so I was able to get out and give the people back their cards or cut them up or whatever. And I just have one credit card. And because I learned from you about the age, when I finished pay off that credit card, even though I paid past whatever it was, because I was trying to hold on to it too at the same time. But coming on this platform and learning from you about the age, I was able to tell my daughter, no, activate that card because the age matters. Because then I will have to start all over. So it's thanks to you. And that's why it is so important to attend these webinars, because no matter how old you are, you always going to learn something new until the day you die. So thank you so much, Dr. John, for giving us information that we probably will have to pay our arm and a leg for. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for caring. And thank you for sharing the love with each and every one of us. Appreciate you.
Thanks for the mindset you keep impacting on us on a weekly basis as well.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Queen Jackie Warner. We appreciate your support. Yes, please.
Appreciate.
All right, brand ambassador, our one and only King Brother Kumaran. Please unmute yourself and share us your excitement about this topic.
Thank you, Dr. Benny. Good evening. Good evening, Dr. John. I'm sorry, I can't open my video outside. It's a wonderful presentation by Dr. John. Really, thank you. I lived with credit card. I got a lot of experience with credit card. It's like cancer. We live with cancer cells, but if you are healthy, the cancer won't attack you. We can manage. So there's sometime in my life, I went to stage 1 cancer, stage 2 cancer, stage 3 cancer. Then there's what the time I almost stage 4.
Oh boy!
But then with the experience, I managed to bring it to stage 2 now. It's a lot of experience. So because when I started in a young time, I don't have this kind of knowledge sharing, the mindset. We came from this very simple life. So we are addicted to the credit card. But if I know this kind of classes or financial planning I went through, I'm sure that I have a healthy lifestyle where I have cancer, but I will be more healthy. So the journey you take today is really give me my experience, my lifestyle. So thank you, Dr. John. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
At least it can help. It can help the person who are watching. They can understand that is a credit card. It's just a cancer. We can if we are healthy, we can overcome the cancer cells. Thank you.
Absolutely, and on passive is going to help us eradicate it, I hope.
Thank you so much, Brother Kumaran. We appreciate your support and thank you for coming. All right, our lady, our queen, Dr. Pat, could you please unmute yourself?
Thank you, Dr. Benny, for allowing me to run my mouth again. Yes, and Queen Jackie, Dr. John has talked about sometimes if you're in a hole, I think that option was if you're in a hole because you did not know, I have an option to get balance transfer 0%, 0 interest balance transfer, even if you fee for 3%. and compared to the 29% you pay for your credit card interest, that is a better option, but this is the cash. There's no 0% interest, okay? It is only 0% within that period that they've given you. So they say 0% until 12 months. Within that 12 months, you have to do all you can to pay that 0% loan that they gave you. Because at the end of the 12 months, they will calculate all the interest for that 12-month period. Okay? The interest accrue. That's the, I don't know whether we got that. The interest accrue during the 0% period. You accrue interest. However, if you pay it before the time is expired, you will not pay any interest. But the moment you miss that timeline, that 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Mountain Time or whatever time that they give you, at 1 minute past that time, you have increased the interest over that 1 year period they gave you or 2 years period they gave you. So please, when you are using that option to dig yourself out of a hole, remember that it doesn't mean that you should fold your hand. You should be working towards paying that new money within that period for that to not pay any further interest, because interest is being accrued and it will come at the end if you don't pay it. Thank you. I just wanted to add that.
Yes, that point is, thank you for really reminding and really emphasizing on that. That's why I made the comment that if I had been do any of those, including those store cards, same as cash, would put it on in our calendar, 3 months to due date, 2 months to due date, 1 month to due date. And guess what? Even sometimes one other very quick trick is, worst case, go and set up the payment on the credit card company's website. Because if you set it up in your bank for them to do like an electronic fund transfer and the check doesn't get to them, that's your problem. But if your payment is done on their website, it is date stamped at the time that you did that payment. So just one other thing to take care of. If you're mailing stuff around, please know that just assume that you're going to have the worst storm and the mail would get there late. Therefore, be ahead of time.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Pat, for your support again. You know, it's good to support your husband, and I love it. Thank you. Queen Violet, please unmute yourself and share us your excitement.
Me again. I just wanted to, everybody's talking about not using their credit cards. When I talked to Equifax, and we're on first name basis there because I got scammed so much. When I was talking to them, they suggested never to leave a card sitting around, but to spend like $50 on it every other month, like buy something for $50 or a candy bar or something, pay it off so that it's in use. And it's not a good idea to leave it sitting around. Another thing someone told me, if you have a credit card and you don't want to use it and you're not good at disciplining it, they said put it in a bowl and stick it in the freezer. And it'll take a while before it unfreezes so that you can use it. So that was another idea. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Violet. I think the idea of using your credit card on a regular basis just to make sure there is activity is a good idea. That shows that there is you're spending and paying, but watch out for that 30% limit. The worst part compared as opposed to overspending, keeping it and not using it is of less impact than overspending. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, you don't really have to use it I don't use it if I don't have to.
Mhm.
It's okay. They will not close it. You don't have to use it.
No, Equifax says that the activity sort of makes your credit score look good, but I'm saying the
It's all right.
impact is not as bad as the impact of not using it is not as bad as the impact of missing a payment or the impact of overusing.
All right. Thank you so much, Queen Violet. Brand Ambassador Sandra, could you please unmute yourself and share us your excitement about this topic?
Hello, everyone.
Recording stopped.
Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay.
Recording in
please.
progress.
Proceed, please.
Okay. I think I just it became a little clearer. Anyway, I have a credit card and I haven't been using it. It doesn't have a yearly fee, and I'm wondering if I should just cancel it. I'm not sure if I will use it, right? But it's just sitting there.
So again, I believe that the credit score, the credit card, the credit companies in the credit score measurement in Canada is the same as in the US. What I'm saying is, if you have a credit card, let's say you have a credit card of $1,000, and then the usage is like close to zero, it's not impacting you. If you cancel it, it's going to have a negative impact on your credit for maybe a month or two, but they will recover. If you keep it, and just as Violet said, maybe you go without once, instead of buying a candy, you choose to instead of buying gas, you choose to use your card and you pay it. It shows that activity. It could actually increase your score on in the future. But if you're one of those people that you're gonna spend and then you forget to make the payment, then just get rid of it. If you know you're never ever gonna use it.
Don't get rid of it, you're saying.
There's no need to get rid of it, no, because it sometimes some of the companies will wait, and they'll call you, say, oh, we haven't seen you use your card. I mean, I had a credit card it was a store credit with Home Depot, and they turned around and they told me, you haven't used it for 3 years. If you don't use it, we're gonna drop your credit limit. I said, okay. And then after a while, I just left the thing there. Then surprise, when it expired, they sent me a new one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Really good presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brand Ambassador Sandra, for your support. All right. Before we proceed, I do have Queen Hyacinth. She said, oh my gosh, oh my goodness. Where else could we all get this information? Only on Passive. Brother John, Sister Patience, that's some powerful information. There's a lot to talk about, which I didn't have a clue. So thanks a million. I learned something new. So they appreciate everything that you have done. And thank you again for your presentation, Dr. John.
Thank you to everybody for being there. It makes a team.
All right. Brand Ambassador Comfort, could you please unmute yourself and share us your excitement about this topic?
Well, thank you all very much. God bless you all for this forum that we have. It's a very good platform. I thank God for the lecture or for the presentation of today. Thank Dr. John for that presentation, because I've been having a lot of problems with it. Even today, I received one of my credit cards mail and I opened it. Like he said, it's good to open it. I don't open it most of the times. So when I opened it today, I saw that there was $40 under the amount owed. So I did not understand. So I called them to find out what happened. because I thought I had set it on auto pay. That's the third time it has happened. No, at least I think that's the first time they are charging me, but that's about the third time I've set auto pay, and they still say that they did not get it. So when I called today, they told me, okay, let's check. They checked and still say it was not there. It was not auto paid. That I sent a check, and that the check got to them 2 days late, and because of that, they charged $20,
Late
$40.
payment.
I told them the money is too much. $40, I could give it to my mother. So what is going to happen now? It's not my fault. Somebody was there with me, directing me on what to do. And still, the auto pay did not go through. I now decided, okay, let's send the check. I gave the check number and everything. And still, now you say it's late. They say, well, let me check. They went round, round, round. They came back. It's one of those things that they say, they give you 0% of 12 months to pay. I think I had 7,000 and they said 0% to pay. So I said, okay. And by then I did not understand it. Reading it and going through that later, I now saw that there's something known as deferred interest, which I did not know.
Oh,
Because I
yes.
kept asking them, I said, what do you gain? What do you gain by giving me 0%? They say, no, there's nothing. We just want you. We know that what we want you to do is get it. And they won't explain, they won't tell you that aspect. So when I saw it, I now called them and said, you mean this 0% you gave me, you are still charging me the interest if I don't complete the payment? And they said, yes. I said, okay. So I learned that one. And that's exactly what you've just said today. And another thing that I wanted to find out is, why is it that some of these banks, you have their credit card and you are owing, and they still want to give you that balance transfer? And when they are giving it to you, they tell you that you cannot use their own credit also in that balance transfer. How do they get it, or how do they make it? How am I going to be able to get a balance transfer from them and then be able to pay that and pay what I'm owing them? How does it affect it? That's something that I don't really understand. That's why I'm unable to get this balance transfer. Because already I'm owing you. You are now telling me I should transfer another one into that same account. Is it not going to increase the bill? Are they not looking for all the bill? Or is it just the one that I've transferred? How does that one work, please?
Oh, they typically just look at the credit card that you're dealing with. And that's why I made a statement there that when it comes to balance transfers, it's good to maybe, instead of looking at it in a general forum here, to actually look at how can I answer and I'd look at that for that particular individual's case, because what they're hoping is that you have another credit card that you're going to transfer that balance out into. And if you are qualified to get a second credit card from them, well, good for you. And they can do that. But it's really one of these things where you go, one department say we are investment, the other one says the banking, the other one says we're credit card, and they don't seem to talk with each other. So in most cases, they're not really even thinking about it in terms of, oh, by the way, we're asking you to transfer your balance from us to us. They're just almost reading script that has been given to them. And that's where maybe just looking at it, sitting with somebody saying, okay, I have this credit card from this bank and I have this one. What is the best way to do a balance transfer? Could be something that could look at. I mean, I could maybe I'll just send you my number. We can chat offline. But those may be some of the things. But you pointed something out here, which I said, and I would like to just reiterate. All those zero interest for 12 months, for 18 months, or even for 100 years, whatever period they give you, they are simply 0%. They are simply interest deferred. That is basically not zero interest. So if I have a $10,000 credit card which says zero balance for 12 months, and I take it today, and I get all the $12,000 and I sit on it and say, oh, I have till next year, July 20th to pay, and I miss that payment by 2 minutes, they're going to calculate the interest starting from today, because that interest was being calculated and being deferred, waiting for me to default. some credit cards, in addition to just giving you that 0% or whatever, will actually require you to make a minimum payment. Maybe they will ask you to do a 1% payment of the outstanding balance every month. And if you miss paying that 1% minimum payment, even though you don't have interest on the rest of the balance, they would actually start charging you for not making that minimum payment. So it is really important to make sure that you know exactly what that, when they send those cards, they normally send with a pile of real detailed information, fine print. It's your responsibility to read it and make sure that you understand what is there. Because, I mean, think about it. Why would the bank give you a 0% interest free for 18 months? How are they making their money? They're making their money in the hope that half of us are going to miss that deadline and we would pay for the rest. That's the simple truth.
Okay, let me ask another question, please. I took, like you said, they'll talk and tell you and make it look sweet. A loan on, what do you call it? Equity loan. When we started, they said, oh, this is good. You don't have to pay too many. The percentage is not high, blah, blah, blah. But now, I open the mails every day. They send me a mail. I keep checking. I never really looked at it. But when I looked at it, I saw that every day the interest kept increasing. And now when I call the agent who was in charge of it, every time you call, oh, I'm on a lunch break, I'll call you, I'll explain it. Next time, blah, blah. They still don't. Now it has gone to 9%. And this is something they said, I did not know that it was not a fixed rate. So, or fixed APR. So I said, how am I going to get out of this one? So like today, I was trying to see if I could go into my 401k and get some money and pay. So I don't know if I should just keep on waiting and paying that one until I finish the payment, because like you said, they'll give you a very minimal, but then I don't go for that. When they give me minimal, I either double it or triple it. That's how I pay it.
So what I've done, Comfort, I've sent you a chart. You can pick my number from there. You check the chat on this Zoom. That's there are a couple of things we can talk about, but just for everybody's information, especially the people that are here in the United States, there are two types of home equity lines of credit. There is the home equity line of credit, which is HELOC, home equity line of credit. Right.
That's what I took.
A HELOC is basically, in 99% of the times, is a variable interest loan. And they may give you maybe the first 2 or 3 years or a period of time that they can lock in the amount, and then it becomes variable. Or sometimes they may actually do it like some of these mortgages they call a jumbo loan, where they give you a nice interest, and after a period of time they say all the balance needs to be paid. So most people get a HELOC because they want to play on the interest rate. So when the interest rates were very low, those were very, very great. And now most of them are hitting the 9.5%, 8% interest, because the interest rate is based on what they call the LIBOR plus some number. And that LIBOR is basically, let's just take it the bank rate plus a certain value. So if you have a HELOC, again, we can talk about that offline, but anybody who is going out to get a home equity line of credit, just know that in most cases it's going to be variable. And there are some of those institutions that will occasionally give you a home, they almost call it a home equity loan instead of a home equity line of credit, which is like literally giving it to you at a fixed rate. So before you go out, and if you, again, this is where we don't know what we don't know. because the agent may just have been looking at getting their little commission and they don't really care, or sometimes credit to them, they may not actually even know as much as what they, maybe somebody new in the field and don't really understand. So there are options you can consider. We can talk about those. If you pick my number, we can talk about offline, so don't tie everyone, because that's a unique, specific thing. But I just wanted to let people know that once you see the HELOC, it's just watch out, because chances are that it's a variable. And if it's variable, 3 years ago, you were like laughing all the way to the bank because the interest rates were close to zero. And now the crazy thing about most of those interest rates is that when they go up, coming down is really a very difficult thing for them. And I will not jump into your 401k very, very quickly. Again, that's why I say let's talk, because getting in and taking money out of your 401k could actually create some other unforeseen consequences that could be as bad as where you are now. Okay, but I don't think it's all doom and gloom. Let's talk, because they're probably solutions, and then we talk. And if you choose to go back to the company and talk with them, at least you'll be talking with them with some understanding of what your options are.
Okay, thank you so much.
And
then let me ask another one question. In what do you call it now? Amazon that charges us fee for Prime. Is that one okay?
Yeah, I'm an avid Amazon person. Amazon, Costco's, and all this Sam's Club. They make a lot of. You see, they sell the things in bulk, and they sell them cheaper, or supposedly sell them cheaper, and offset those costs by making us pay membership fees. So that's where I like the convenience of Amazon, and I think my family uses it extensively. So I pay for it. It's again, I'm paying for the convenience, and it's a choice. If you don't buy a lot online, maybe it's not worth it, but it's a personal decision, I would say.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Dr. John.
You're welcome.
And I appreciate all of you. God bless you. And I'll call. I'll chat tonight. I'll get the number. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I have learned a lot there.
Take care.
Thank you so much, Brand Ambassador Comfort, for coming and asking your question. And I'm glad that you have learned a lot. Queen Debbie, I have one more. I just want to read something on the chat, and then I'll hand it over to you. This is from Queen Venet. Excellent presentation, Dr. John. You nailed it. Wow, you are truly a great teacher. This teachings is for all of us, because we all run into this situation at least once. Moving forward, we will know better. Thank you again, Dr. John, for being our teacher, our instructor, and we know that next week you will bring more and more topics to teach us. We appreciate you, Dr. John. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
I will hand it over now to our one and only Queen Debbie. Proceed, please.
Thank you so much, Sister Dr. Queen Benny. Appreciate you so much for all you do, not just for now, but since the beginning of the webinar. Thank you. And Dr. John, thank you. As I was telling my Gen Z baby that when I had my first credit card, my line of credit was $100. And she wants a credit card and she's asking for $500 minimum. I'm asking her, how do you plan to pay back? And she laughed at me and said, you just told me yours was $100. What is the difference between 1 and 5? And I said 400. And what is the difference between 20 and 1? Because that was 20 years ago. And she laughed. He said, well, did you consider inflation? So anyway, there's so much to talk on this topic, and there's no winner or loser. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time and the knowledge that you're impacting us with. So at this point, I want to just say thank you to all our YouTube viewers. We appreciate you joining us today. But before I go there, I want to call on our honorable host, who has not said anything since we started, to share a few comments before we proceed. We have several hosts here, but the one who's given us the voice to be able to be on this platform. He's that one and only who is always on his avatar, and he talks to us back and forth with nonverbal communication. And he's never tired standing. Dr. Derek, please let us hear from you, please. You can have your bottle of water next to you. We also cherish your blue.
Oh, mercy. Peace, blessings, enough, holy, plenty, a lot of love to all our global ambassadors here on Deep Dive, globally changing lives, because that is what we are intending to do, to globally change lives. Thank you very much, Queen Jacqueline Warner. Oh my goodness. I tell you, we need to give out some certificates in the near future, for these mindsets and these presentations. Because when you talk about, on passive a done deal, Ash Mufari always say on passive a done deal, but I never know someone could create a mindset out of on passive a done deal, and do you believe that on passive is a done deal? Never know that a mindset could come out of that. Oh my goodness. Awesome, awesome. You nailed it. You nailed it. Queen Jacqueline Warner. Really appreciate it. And have mercy. King Dr. John. I tell you, you make me feel like go get a credit card.
You should.
You make me feel bad now. Dr.
You should.
John, you make me feel very, very bad. Like I should have go knock on the bank door and go get a couple credit card. Oh my goodness. It's awesome. Awesome how you presented. I really need to maybe get at least one credit card. Now that I know. You see, I was always scared based on my experience way back in the 80s. No, actually it was late 70s. What am I talking about? 80s? No, man. 80s I was running up and down in Grenada, dodging from bullet and all those things. So, no, late 70s. Yeah, I felt so bad, so, but now, so since what, 86, 85, 86, I don't have a credit card. But Dr. John has inspired me. Dr. John has inspired me. Thank you very much, Dr. John. I will seek that directive come as soon as possible. Thank you very much for the presentation and for the knowledge. I'm feeling a lot more confident that there is actually profit to be had from that story or that person that you mentioned in your presentation. So thank you very much, Dr. John. That was an awesome presentation. Never had it like that before, and I got it for free. Can you imagine this wealth of information and knowledge that we are here getting for free. Most of the time, if you go to a CPA or an accountant, well, the money going to be a little different. The accountant might charge you less. The CPA going to charge you a lot more. And we are getting it right here on Deep Dive and Dream Team for free. Free. So thank you very much, Dr. John. Awesome. Dr. Patience. Awesome. First Lady Queen, Dr. Benny. Awesome. And all the persons who made comments and, you know, dress up the thing and all of that, you know. Thank you very much. And of course, Queen Lily Lane, our major ambassador on this platform, and of course King Carlton Clark. I must check out if you're related, you know. I must check out, because people normally don't spell Clark with an E. They just say Clark and it drop off or cut off, you know. So when you spell it with an E, you might be somewhere from Westmoreland, because that's where my father was from, Westmoreland. And so therefore, who to tell? We might be related, you know, King Carlton, who to tell. All right, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And of course, Queen Tunishai and Queen Miriam, oh my goodness. And with Queen Jacqueline Warner, oh my goodness, that is the three musketeers when it comes on to mindset, the mindset. So please take it, listen to it again, and listen to it again. It's on the three YouTube channels that is there. Dr. Benny channel, Dr. Patience, and myself. And also every Monday, Queen Miriam do the Mindset Monday. So, you know, subscribe to her YouTube channel also. Everyone subscribe to Dr. Benny and Dr. Pat YouTube channel. And let us keep it moving, because the wealth of information is rolling and you didn't pay for it. Free. So please. Thank you very much. And back to you, Queen Debbie.
Thank you. Thank you too, Dr. Derek. The way you summarize everyone's input, all our global ambassadors who are here with us, all the presenters, it sounds so amazing. There's nothing to add to that other than to say we appreciate you and we thank you. Not just you, Dr. Derek, alone, but all the global ambassadors who are here with us, including the presenters. And at this stage, we're going to we'll say goodbye to our YouTube viewers. Thank you so much for being with us. Please sign in again next week, Tuesday and Thursday at the same time.